Hello and welcome to Getting Candid with me, your girl Helen. Now guys, have you ever wondered what it feels like to be a president's child? What that experience is all about? I've always wondered and I'm always curious to say, how do you live your life, separate your life from your parents and just be you? And that is why today I decided to invite Gerald Sata and they just said, hey, come and share this story with us. How has it been? Join me on the other side as I chat with him. Welcome back. So my guest is right here and we are ready to roll. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Looking at you, I was so amazed. I looked at him, I'm like, oh my God, you look so much like your mother.
I get that a lot.
Oh my God, it's like, I see you on social media and I'm like, yeah, they look alike, but to just like see you in person is like, oh my God.
Mesmerizing.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. How are you?
I'm good. I'm extremely tired, but I'm good. I'm good.
Busy,
yeah,
eh?
busy. Yeah.
How's your mother?
My mom is good. Bless. Yeah, always blessed.
Send our love. I see how you guys get along. There was a video that I think was trending at some point where you were dancing.
Yes. And we actually have a new video coming out.
With her?
Yes. Where we went to go visit the new restaurant, Jesse's. Jesse's Fine Dining. So I think I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Right. So, that for me already brings up the questions like, when we see her, like first she's a first lady, she's a doctor.
Yeah.
We are seeing her in these serious positions. Then at home, you're able to convince her and say, Mom, let's dance, let's do this together. How is she at home?
So, funny enough, I'm not the one that convinces her to do the dancing. You know what's so funny is, if you were to be behind the scenes and be able to look at our family structure, Mom is actually the most joyful, like jovial one.
Serious?
Yeah. She's always on TikTok, learning all these different TikTok challenges and like all these dances. And she goes, oh, let's try this one.
Are you serious? Oh my God.
Because I'm always busy. So like I'm always either creating content, I'm always, having meetings with my team and all that. So it's very difficult to be at home. So whenever I'm at home, I'm really enjoying watching her learn the TikTok challenges and like all the other stuff that she does at home.
I like that. It's really nice to just get to know that there's this other happy, the very soft, jovial side of her, which is impressive because you guys get to see that. And obviously when you see her in her other element, you still get the other joyful element when she's home.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful. So now, you guys, first, what's your profession?
So I am a psychologist. I graduated psychology in Spain, Marbella, Spain. And I've been working a little bit in the psychology sector in Zambia, it being at Chainama. I did work at Chainama for a year, 7 months, kind of. It was good. It was challenging, I will say that, because you are never really prepared of the challenges that you face in psychology and everything. But I guess it was really good. I really got to meet a very lovely people and I really got to connect a lot with my clients and with my patients as well. So,
when you talk psychology and you talk Chainama, because mostly Chainama is looked at as when you go to Chainama, you're mad,
Exactly.
So how has been the response from people that are not facing the crazy part of, like me? Like I feel like I need therapy, But like, how many people were coming in my state and say, I need therapy? They actually come to Chainama. How was that?
It's very rare to have people say, I want to come to therapy. And I feel like we really struggle as a country because psychology, mental health, all of those issues are very stigmatized in Zambia. And we really suffer in the psychology sector because whenever someone comes to Chainama, they are already at the 4th stage of, the mental illness, which is the critical stage. And I feel like that's why a lot of people stigmatize psychology as, people are deranged and all that. And I feel very awful for Chainama because, Chainama is not only a rehabilitation center, it's not only a place where you take, deranged people. For you to become deranged, you have to get to that stage.
Oh, so it moves in stages.
Yeah, it comes in stages. You first start, there's little symptoms that you have to pick up, that you have to, look at. to be able to understand that, okay, this person is schizophrenic, this person is having anxiety, this person has depression. And I feel like we really need to be educated more in Zambia as a country on, these stages of psychology. And also another thing is a lot of people don't know, or should I say fail to believe, that Chainama is not just a place to take mad people, because you can have people with anxiety, people with bipolar, people with depression, people who are schizophrenic, amnesia, dementia, all of those little things. They're not little, but it's just all those
It
simple
shouldn't
things.
get to the worst.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they can be medicated. We have very amazing professionals that are able to, take care of the people.
Yeah.
But it's just the stigma that is there that really just messes up the whole, messes up the future of most Zambians. And if you look at the suicide rate, it's become extremely difficult to have to hear that, oh, a loved one killed themselves, or, they attempted suicide, because, a lot of people are now wanting to just act like, oh no, I'm happy, but on the inside they're not really happy. And that's why I always say everyone needs therapy.
Yeah.
Even if you think you are good, there are still some things that are closed in your mind that you need to unlock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like that. You've been campaigning for mental health on social media. How's
Yeah.
that? Do you get people to reach out and actually?
I do, actually. I did partner up with some mental health institutions that have been, promoting and advocating on mental health. And it has, we've reached out to a lot of the youth. I'll say that. Not that many elderlies, but we have reached out a lot to the youth, and it is working very well.
Yeah.
Because I really do feel like our new generation is the generation that has been exposed to a lot.
Okay.
You're exposed to COVID, you're exposed to all of these different disorders on Instagram, on TikTok, and you think you have it, you know. But then when you go to therapy, you're able to just share your trauma, you're able to share your experiences, which is actually just, it's amazing. I mean, it's good. I love to see the change in people. I always tell this story of one person who came to me as, they were skin and bones, but if you look at them now, very healthy.
I'm sure those are some of the things that encourage you.
Yeah, those are my victory stories.
Yeah.
Very healthy, and also starting their own business, and it's actually going well right now.
Nice.
So it's amazing to have to share such stories, Yeah.
Ever thought of joining politics?
Oh. No, I mean,
you're like, no.
I don't think I would actually join politics, because the way I look at politics, it's a lot of work, and I really commend politicians. I commend our president, His Excellency, Mr. Candid, because it's a lot of work to have to, pick up from where the last person left off from, But then a lot of people don't really, see that work, because people just think it's gonna happen.
We just need
like
results,
that, But sometimes you really just need to, be patient and trust the process. Because as people always say, Rome was not built in a day.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll say Zambia won't be, built in a day. There's so many factors that need improving, and I really do commend our president for the amount of work that he has put in. And as much as many people think he is not doing some work, it is a work in progress. Yeah.
There's one thing, your father was the fierce King Cobra, very blunt. He would say anything.
Yeah.
But how was he at home? We knew King Cobra. You knew your dad.
Yeah.
What were the differences? When you look at him, he was in politics for a very long time.
Yeah. Funny thing, like I said with my mom, and this is one thing that I've also learned taken from my parents. We have different faces that we use, because when you're in business, you obviously have to, act, like you're in the business. But like when he was at home, he was very soft. He was loving. He was a loving man.
Yeah.
Very, very jovial as well. My dad loved parties. I
Loves
remember. Yeah, he
parties,
loved
yeah?
parties. I remember we had this one Christmas party, and he just came to me because my family looked at me as the event organizer.
So you are the party guy in the family?
I'm the party organizer. Like I love organizing parties. I love aesthetics. I just love putting things together to create something beautiful. So my dad came to me one time and he said, we need to call everyone together and have a Christmas party. Just tell me what it is and then we do it.
Yeah.
And my dad's favorite holiday was Christmas as well. He loved the fireworks.
So he loved family.
Yeah, he loved having family together. He was a family man, should I say. Yeah, so I mean, I loved that part of my dad because, I could take over the confident side and the very, strict side while he's outside.
Yeah.
But then the very loving person that he was at home as well. Yeah.
Right. But he was very strict.
Yes. Also, he was very strict. He was, but then strict in a parent way.
Yeah.
But not strict in a way that is like an authoritative, type. But he taught us good morals. He taught us the rules of life and everything, and that's something that I'm extremely grateful for.
Do you have one memory where you were in trouble with your dad and you're like, today?
Yes. I think it was 2009.
Yeah.
We were meant to travel 2 weeks before, and I remember I did not have any coloring books. So all I saw was permanent markers and my sister's passport.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
So I went into my dad's bedroom and I was like, oh, Daddy, I'm looking for, a marker. And he gave it to me, not knowing what I was about to do. So here I am scribbling through my sister's passport, scribbling.
Oh my
and
God.
he walks into my room and sees it. And he goes, what are you doing? And we're supposed to travel.
Yeah.
And I remember that day, I literally saw the red that he was seeing.
Yeah.
But I mean, one thing, I'll never understand, but I always find it very funny. After that day when he got shouted at me, I was so in trouble.
Yeah.
The next morning, he always used to hum a lot when he was walking. So that's how you knew, he was in a good mood. And so he's humming, and, you can just hear his, footsteps in the corridor, and I'm so scared, I'm shivering. And he knocks on my door. And I'm so scared. So I don't answer at first. Then he knocks again. He goes, Gerald, I have something for you.
Yeah.
So I open the door and it's a coloring book.
Oh, stop coloring passports. That was sweet though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he got me a coloring book and pencils, and he goes, you know what? Don't be afraid to show off your artistic side. And I think that's when I realized that he was really in support of my cultural side, of my artistic side, because he was also one person that was very supportive of my singing. Yeah. So I guess that's where it also came from.
Wow. That when you're expecting that, he was really apparent in that moment because he knew you were scared and you expected the worst. And that's beautiful. So when you talk about your singing, I've always thought about you singing at your dad's funeral.
Yeah.
I don't think that's easy because you're heartbroken, that's your dad.
Exactly.
But again, when you want to sing at his funeral, that will make him proud wherever he is. If they do watch, if he's watching, you want to believe this moment is something that I know dad was going to be proud of.
Yeah.
And if he's watching me, I want him to know I'm doing the best. How did you handle that balance?
I always say it's very difficult to lose a parent. And I feel like many people that are watching this that have lost a parent will know that when you do lose a parent, you only feel it on the day that he is actually descending into the soil, because the entire funeral, I was on autopilot. Let me just say that. I was on autopilot because, we had to just get everything together. In as much as, yes, it was a state funeral, it felt like everything was being done. But then at the same time, we had to take care of mom. We had to take care of my grandmother. My mom's mother was actually the closest to my dad.
Oh.
So she was devastated. So we had to take care of, all of those people. And I also had to be a pillar to both my mom and my grandma, and my siblings and everything. I've always been known to be the softest of the family, but also the strongest when it comes to critical situations.
Oh, wow.
You know, so I guess I was on autopilot, and the day that I sang, I had actually asked Sonia, I said, just before I went onto the stage, I asked her and I said, listen, I don't know if I'll be able to sing this alone because I could already feel my voice cracking. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I could already feel my voice cracking, and I told her, like, I don't think I would be able to do this alone. And she says, don't worry, I'll be there holding your hand. When I got to the stage and I looked around and I saw that the whole stadium was filled. I don't know how many seats that is. 80,000?
Should
like,
be
is it 30,000?
60,000 euros? Yeah, should be
Yeah,
60,000.
it was filled up.
Yeah.
And there were people outside as well. And, you know, all you can hear is...
And then there's us watching on TV
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. And, like, I remember walking onto the stage and... I don't know, you know in the movies, like when everything just gets quiet, it just zones out. You know, that's how I felt. I just felt like, okay, zoned out, and then my earpiece starts playing the music.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to start. And if you recall, it took me a while to actually start singing.
Yeah.
Because now reality had just hit. So at that point, I was like, okay, like let's get it done. And I remember opening my mouth, and I just felt like he was there with me. Like instead of Sonia holding my hand, he was the one holding my hand. You know, and I just felt like the minute I opened my mouth and started singing, magic just came out.
Yeah.
And I remember finishing the song, reality came back in, and I'm like, oh, I just sang, and I just remember people cheering.
Yeah.
You know, people blowing vuvuzelas, people doing this. I look around and like, okay, I'm done. You know, and I think that is the part when I went to sit down and I hugged my mom, and that's when I lost it.
Yeah, you had to.
Yeah, because I think that's when I actually realized that it was time to, like, you know, let him go.
Yeah.
And like everything, yeah. So
I should commend you for that, because I've always had that question in my, like, how did you manage to do it? Because I don't think it's easy on anybody. I have fortunately never lost a parent, but I don't think it's easy at all. It's a scary thought, but to actually sing, I commend you for that. I'm sure he's proud of you wherever he is. And I saw that you redid it on TikTok.
Yes.
And that for me was just like, this was not easy.
Yeah.
Like, this was hard, and the whole nation is watching.
It still isn't easy, and the fact that it's gonna be 10 years next month is
10 years.
10 years. Imagine. Passed away in 2014. That's the most scary part, because I'm like, it still feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember mom asking me like, oh, are you gonna sing again? And I was like, and now I have to go through that again, you know?
Yeah, like you have to relive it.
Yeah, but then, like, I mean, I would love to sing for him. I always sing for him. Like, every time I go visit him, like at Embassy Park, I always sing to him, you know, and everything, because he enjoyed my singing, you know, and yeah, I think it's a way that we got close to each other.
That's nice.
So, yeah.
I like that he loved your singing, supported your singing, and you've continued singing. I see you performing. Do you plan to go to the studio?
I mean, I have gone to the studio, I've recorded some songs, but it's just, you know, you always have that anxiety of releasing it. And I think that is one thing that I also need to put out, is that in as much as I am trying to make a name for myself, you know, with my creation, with my artistic side, it's really hard because many people link it to my dad, you know, link it to my family name. And as much as I don't want it, it's what I have to live with, you know. So sometimes I always live with that anxiety of having to, you know, be able to, like, you know, be strong enough to, like,
You're thinking about, maybe I'll get some backlash.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I always do, but like, my dad taught me to be strong.
Oh, your dad was a strong man.
Yeah.
I see on TikTok, and you kind of funny, you make us laugh, which for me is not shocking, because your dad was funny. He would be serious and he would say something that will crack you for days. So I do think maybe you also got that from him as
Yeah.
well, because he would always make people laugh. And that's why it's up to today. There are certain videos that will always resurface
Yeah.
and say, oh, Michael Sata said this, King Cobra said this, those kind of things. So it's not shocking that you have that side. And you've also mentioned that your mother is also very jovial.
Yeah.
So it's just that their professions were not allowing them to give that,
Exactly,
you know.
yeah.
But you can do it. And I should say you should continue being you, because
Yeah,
I don't think
of
it's
course.
easy,
Yeah,
because
it
there's
isn't,
that.
Yeah. There's that spotlight that's always on.
Gosh, man, I feel
know,
sorry for you guys,
yeah.
because I see comments on your social media and I see people say blah, 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 blah. But I think people forget that you're also you.
A human, exactly. Like, a lot of people tend to forget, that I too have feelings, that I too go through things. Like, yes, I may be reading the comments, yes, I may comment on some of them, with this like type of attitude. But on the inside, it hurts, But one thing I also took from my parents is the confidence and, like not being able to, take a lot of things to heart. They made me hard-headed. They made me, strong-minded. I'll say that, and what I just want to do is create. I wanna express what I go through. Like I'm a very funny person, very bubbly, and I'm very outgoing. But it's certain things like that just make me insecure to actually be myself.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah.
Fully, yeah.
So sometimes it's difficult, but other times I guess I wear a mask and I just ignore it. Yeah. So.
Now, I'm curious to know the changes that you guys had to undergo when your father became president. He was minister, he had gone through these government offices, and he was opposition for a long time.
Yeah.
When he became president, first when he was pronounced president, where were you?
When he was pronounced president, I was at my aunt's house in Yumbayanga.
How did you feel?
To be honest, I even forgot that there were elections happening.
Oh my God.
What's crazy is my cousins were the ones that were like, Gerald, the TV is on. And I was just like, I just want to I just want to read.
Yeah.
I just want to be in my own world.
Yeah.
I really don't. Because, you have seen someone take so many losses to a point where, you're not okay, numbers sometimes, yes, they may go up, but all of a sudden they just go down.
Yeah, I know.
So I got used to that. And I remember when he won, I was just hearing a lot of screaming. I did not really take it, oh, okay, he's won. And so my cousin say, oh, Daddy won. They used to call him Dad.
Yeah.
My dad was he was like a father figure to everyone.
Yeah.
And I remember picking up the phone, and just as I was about to call him, he called me, and he goes are you coming home tomorrow? So I was like, yeah, it's he also did not believe it. He was just going to take it as a normal day.
Yeah.
And I remember the next day was his inauguration. I remember getting home at 8 in the morning and just seeing all these police cars and everything. Everything basically changed.
Yeah.
The official car was there, and I walked into his bedroom and he wasn't dressed. And I was like, Dad, why aren't you dressed?
Yeah.
And I remember, I think that was one of the first times I saw him shed a tear.
Oh.
And I remember I'm very emotional sometimes because I always remember that. And I even gave him a hug. My dad was not a hugger.
Yeah.
But that day, he gave me a hug, and I remember saying congratulations, and then I broke down. It was a very sentimental, very, very beautiful moment.
Shows his passion. He was really passionate about what he wanted and what he wanted to do for the country.
And I remember from a young age, I always wanted to, travel, go to school abroad and everything. Not really because I did not like Zambian schools, but because even in as much as he was not in he was still in politics, I was always just receiving that special treatment, which I did not want.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to move abroad and everything.
And be yourself.
I remember at that moment, giving him that hug and him saying thank you, and I just I basically forgot everything. I was just okay.
Yeah.
Now life's about to change.
Yeah, and it changed.
And all of a sudden, things just changed. I wasn't being picked up in an Isuzu that my dad loved in the VA, not listening to Jim Reeves. I had to move around with security. I was just like, okay, this.
How was life? I feel like people that are free-spirited, like you have a problem with,
Yes,
like.
I had a huge problem. I did not want security at all.
Yeah.
And my dad always had to sit me down and talk to me and say, you need to get used to it. You know, I don't know how long this is going to be for.
Yeah.
But you need to get used to it. And it took a lot of time. You know, like, I mean, like, he still made me feel like I was still a kid. You know, bought me quad bikes and like everything. We would take trips, we would do this, you know. So at the end of the day, I guess it was because of him that I kind of felt comfortable in that, like, you know, in that spotlight or in the life of being a president's son. But at the same time, it was still the same thing in the back of my mind. Like, okay, George, you can't do this. You can't do this. You know, like, I couldn't just go to any restaurant, have lunch and everything, you know, because, like, it was just difficult. And, like, another thing is, I remember one time after going to the hospital, like, especially on Sundays after church, Dad and I used to go have ice cream.
Okay.
Or, like, something. Or, like, like, with Mom and I, on Sunday mornings, we'd have breakfast at Kilimanjaro. It used to be at Manda Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'd always have family breakfast at Manda Hill. And now that changed. So I remember one time we went to the hospital, and that was a Sunday. And I was like, Mom, let's do something different for once. We don't have to go home. And I was like, okay. So then she goes, what do you want to do? So I said, let's go to Manda Hill. I did not think that through. Because in my head, I'm like, okay, this is Mom. Like, it's always been Mom. Not the first lady of that. You know, so I remember going to Manda Hill, is just security all over. We could not walk freely.
Same.
Every time we'd enter a shop, they'd have to kick everyone out. And to me, that was just like, why do you have to kick people out? You know, I'm like, why are you kicking people out? Let people shop.
Yeah.
We're just the same as these people are, you know?
No, you're not. At that moment.
Yeah, at that moment we were not. But, like, but like, yeah. So, I mean, it took a lot of change. But I guess, you know, you live and you learn. Yeah, that's all I would say. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. I wish you had more time.
No, thank you so much.
I really wish you had more time. Release that music.
Yeah.
Release that music.
Definitely. Let me just like screw in my willpower.
Yeah, please do that. I think I would love to listen to your music and a lot of people, because I think when you sang that day, a lot of us were just learning for the first time that he has a son who can sing. That's what a lot of us were thinking and saying at that moment. And that's why like the video was trending, and so beautiful, very talented. I see you performing. Where can people watch you perform? At least those that.
Every last Thursday of the month, hopefully, there's live band at Granddaddy's. Yeah, I do go there sometimes to sing, from time to time. Yeah. But like,
All right, Gerald, thank you so much for making time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Alrighty, guys, this has been a great chat. I hope you liked it. Follow him on TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah, that's it. That's basically it. TikTok and Instagram.
Your names?
Instagram is Gerald Star. TikTok is Gerald Sata.
Okay. Yeah. So you can search for him, follow him, and he's funny and fun to follow. This has been your girl, Hellen. Bye-bye.